Music.
Wolf of Fantasy Sports, DFS Wolfpack, NFL Week 8, first look, Draftkings player pricing. So, to do a recap, afternoon slate, totally bombed it. No Wilson, not good. Main slate, I was looking real good up until the late game. Seattle, Arizona, I had some exposure in the 20 max and just a couple one-offs in the $1 and quarter, some low dollar stuff. I had exposure to it. My whole plan was to fade that game. It's not smart. Winning about 2,800 up until that late game started. And then, of course, Lockett just goes on a tear. Usually Wilson spreads the ball out a little bit more. So like one touchdown to Metcalf, one to Lockett, one to Disley, one to Hollister. He rushes one in. Carson gets two on the ground. No joke, I was hoping that Carson would have a big game and it wouldn't hurt me. And his ownership probably wasn't all that high at all. Some sharps might have been on him. But realistically, I was in like 44th place in the $100 SPY single entry when that last game started. And I dropped all the way back to 281 due to Lockett. Like every Lockett catch dropped me back about $152, $300. His third touchdown dropped me back about $400 or $500. So it is what it is. That was the risk of fading that late game. Now, if you look at the 20 max, I cashed every lineup in the 20 max except for two. So, not sure who they were. Bridgewater had more. One with Davis on that stack, and then looking at Mahomes, and I had Odell Beckham Jr. in there. So Robinson, Kelsey, nothing. Put up 43 points, got nothing out of the highest price tight end, and then Robinson. I was trying to get sneaky in that build. $3 20 max, just getting different. Looking up here though, my best lineup on the week was Wilson, Lockett. I did not have Devontae Adams to get to the top of the GPPs. You pretty much needed Adams, Lockett, or a combination of Wilson, Lockett with the bring back of Hopkins. You had cheap running backs, so shame on me. I should have stacked this game because there was a $2,500 tight end that put up 20 plus DraftKings points. So if it wasn't Cook, I got on Cook right before lock, and I switched everything to Cook, and he got that touchdown on the first drive, I believe. And I was really excited, but he didn't do much after that. I think he got 4 targets, caught the lucky touchdown, and that was it. I got lucky that I even got that because the $2,500 tight end for Cleveland, dude was bare min, put up 20 plus points at like 6% ownership, and that was my other guy. I was gonna go with him, Henry, and then I just got on to Cook late. Just something told me gotta play him at that price, and he was a little cheaper than Henry, and it made other players fit. So Lockett, man, 9% ownership in the 20 max. Big time, big time. Overall, it was a good week. Could have been a whole lot better. Could have been a whole lot better if that main slate didn't have the late game. So I want to take a look at week 8 for NFL. I'm looking at quarterback position, players that I'm high on first look. So I like the run game for the Chiefs. I'm not going to play Mahomes. He could get subbed out at like third quarter. I think they're just going to totally dominate. So we'll talk about a player that I'm going to probably play. Looking at Wilson versus San Fran in play. This game could be a back and forth affair. I don't think. You got to look at the totals. Everything's based off the totals. Start with Vegas. Start with the total. But Wilson doesn't play on the first look for me. Rodgers, I like that matchup. Rivalry game. Green Bay, Minnesota. In Green Bay, Rodgers is definitely on my radar here. Looking at Herbert, I think I'm not expecting 3-4 touchdowns out of Herbert here, but definitely 2. I think the game will go back and forth. The weather's going to be something you got to think about. Ryan Tannehill, first look. I like Tannehill. This will probably be a quarterback that I definitely have exposure to. Pair him up with A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, or attack this team, Cincinnati, with the run game. Looking at Jared Goff versus Miami, Tua's going to get the start. This game looks set up to be nice. I got to look at the total here. I haven't looked at Vegas yet. Had a lot of Burrow last week. Don't want as much of him this week. I like this game, Vegas versus Cleveland. So Baker Mayfield, no more Odell Beckham for the season. Got a torn ACL. So you got to look at the pass catcher, the receivers for Cleveland. You got a couple guys that I got my eye on. We'll talk about them, but I think Baker's in play here versus Vegas. So Cousins, I'll probably avoid him this week. Tua. Rams got a solid defense. It's not elite, but they have elite talent on their defense. So it's going to be a tough one for Tua first start. I'll probably have him in maybe one of the 2 of the 20 max contests that I run, but I don't think he's touching my main at all. Derek Carr at 5,500. I like that. I think I'm going to have a lot of exposure to Carr this week. Garoppolo, Jimmy G versus Seattle. I think he can put some points up, get it done here. Jimmy G right here should be solid for about 15 to 20 DraftKings points in this matchup. If I'm paying down, Darnold versus KC, I think he put up like 2 DraftKings points versus the Bills. The Jets are a complete mess. No Crowder, that's gonna hurt Darnold. I wouldn't even touch it. Maybe in a quarter contest if you want to get loose. And that's pretty much it. I think if I'm paying all the way down, first look, I think you can gamble with Drew Lock, but I'm not putting big money behind it. I think Garoppolo and Carr are probably the 2 that I really look at here, and maybe Tua that I'll have some exposure to and some low dollar stuff. They're not touching my main lineup. First look main lineup, I gotta say Goff, Ryan Tannehill, Aaron Rodgers. Those are the 3 I'm gonna possibly have a mixture of in my main builds. That's just first look thoughts. Running back position, okay, you got Kamara, Michael Thomas back. Those are questions that can't be answered on a Monday. Looking at Derrick Henry, definitely viable here. 8,000. He got it done in the second half versus Pitt. Got in the box. 20 attempts, 75 yards, 2 targets. Versus Cincinnati, I'm liking it. We don't know if Cook's coming back just yet. Aaron Jones, don't know if he's back. Probably won't play either one of those players, but I like Kareem Hunt. So on the first look, I'm just locking them in. I mean, I like Henry, I like Hunt so far. So we'll lock some of these players in just to get a build going. I see a lot of other YouTubers doing that. That seems to be what people like to watch. So I get a first look lineup going. I got Derek Carr, I got Kareem Hunt. Let's see if I got enough value to put in Derrick Henry. I would want to get him in my lineup, but we'll see. I think Jacobs is viable here, but I'm going to go with the pass catchers for Vegas, so I'm not going to put him in this lineup. Now, he's been catching. I don't normally do it with Vegas. He's got 4 targets here, so. And then he's shown some consistency as of late with getting targets. So 3, 4, 4, 3, 6 on the season. You could do that. You could go that route. But let's see what I can find down below. Okay, Gaskin, 52. There's really no value. I mean, week 7 was very rare for just all the value that opened up to let you pay up for that late game. Because if there wasn't value that opened up, my pivots on Gurley for week 7, that hit. And my pivot of Hunt, I think he got like 19. That worked out. So I would have been just fine without Mixon and the others, but I wouldn't have been able to pay up in certain spots. I would have had that $2,500 tight end. I would have completely punted the position. So I think that would have worked out in my favor if players like Mixon and Jones were active. I would have been set. But I did want Jones. Aaron Jones was a guy I locked in on my first look. So and throughout the week, looking at Le'Veon Bell going up against the Jets. I like that play because I think they just get up big in the first half and rely on their defense. I like KC defense too, so we'll get there. But I think Le'Veon Bell here in a smash spot. I believe he got 6 attempts. Yep. No targets. Just give me some Lev Bell. We're going to put him in a first look. The revenge is real. And I think the game plan him in just a little bit more with a huge lead. It's the Jets. Why not? Perfect spot. Good timing. I think he gets about 10 to 11, 12 attempts. Maybe even more. Maybe the whole second half is his. Why not? So, Lev Bell on the first look. Derek Carr, Kareem Hunt. Just locking them in. These are all 1 o'clock games, so I like putting my 1 o'clock games in the top spots, putting the later games in the flex. I don't see a lot of people doing that when a lot of the subs send me their lineups. Always remember to put the players. You might think it doesn't matter, but it does. If you got to swap off somebody and you got a receiver that could have been in the wide receiver spot, you got him in the flex, you got to get better with that. Adams is back in play. Price went up. Okay, Metcalf. So, off first look, I mean, of course, Adams, right back to it, especially if Jones is out again. I feel a lot better about that. I locked him in last week everywhere, just one of the guys I wanted almost in every lineup. I think I had him in like 98% of my lineups. So, we got Thielen, Jefferson, Green Bay. I like all that. I like Metcalf this week. Lockett blew up. Look, that was the best game of his career. So he had another big one versus Dallas, but I mean, the guy had like 30, 36 at half, like ridiculous. Just put up the 56. I just don't see it happening again. 20 targets, I just don't see it happening again. Though I'll probably have lower exposure to him. AJ Brown, somebody I really like. Back on Diggs, I doubt it. In this spot, New England's sharp. That coaching's sharp. Probably won't go back to him. Looking at Kupp and Woods, like both of them. And Keenan Allen at 6,200. The guy's getting crazy amount of targets. Price didn't go up. I think it stayed the same. So I'm just going to put him right back in my lineup. He didn't get in the box. 13 targets. Guyton caught like a 70-yard touchdown. Herbert's airing it out. Denver's a solid defense, but give me Keenan Allen here based off the matchup. Now, when I do this first look, when I identify the players at the price and based on the first look matchup, just the eye, I look into these players throughout the week. And then I weed out, okay, this is going to be a good play, this is going to be a bad play. But Keenan Allen at 6,200, he's going to make the first look. So I'm going to need some value here. I'm going to just lock in my defense right away. I'm going to go with the Chiefs defense. I think a couple other defenses are viable. Pittsburgh's always solid. I think the Patriots defense could hold Buffalo. They seem to have their number. Belichick's really sharp. And Allen hasn't been looking all that great. Did put up 300 yards, but he did not get in the touchdown. They didn't punt the ball that whole game versus the Jets, which was crazy. But they couldn't score a touchdown. So right now I think if I was paying down, maybe the Patriots, pick up my Bills, or I'm just going to pay up. Pay up for the Chiefs. Figure it out. Tight end position. Looking at Kittle, 7,000. That's a lot. I think that's the highest he's been in quite some time, or maybe all season. Yeah. Since week 1. He was 7,200. That's a lot of money to pay for a tight end. He's in a hell of a spot. But give me Darren Waller. I'm going to pair him up. Pair him up with my guy Carr here in this first look build. So I'm going to go with Waller the baller. I consider that a good week 7, but Cook doesn't get enough targets for me. Henry, solid. Price went down. Let's see. I'll go back to Trey Burton versus Detroit, which, looking at the stats, I don't think Detroit's giving it up. We've got to see who's done damage against them. Let's see how many targets Bryant got. I think he's just really efficient in the end zone. 5, yeah. So when they got in the red zone, he got it done. But overall, man, I'm telling you right now, Jonnu Smith, 4,100. That's somebody I'm looking at. And then, especially in my Tannehill builds. But right now, I'm going to just lock in Waller at 56. The price is right. I love it. The matchup's good. And I'll be digging into a little more. But he's getting a lot of targets. 16, 11, 7, 9. That's what I want to see. 8. Okay, he had 4 versus New England. But that's New England. They take away the best weapon you got. And Waller's arguably the best weapon they got. Okay. So, I'm going with Waller. I'm going with Carr. I think this game could go back and forth a little bit. No Odell Beckham. but we saw Baker was able to shine and prove the haters wrong. So wide receiver position on this first look. Now I'm gonna leave the flex open. I'm gonna go with one more receiver because I only gave you one. So let's see what I could do here. At 5,500, I'm gonna go with a cheaper wide receiver. So possibly we're gonna do a run back stack. We're gonna do a game stack and run it back. So Vegas has Aguilar. If you want to pair him up with Waller and Carr, he's been really efficient as of late, getting the targets, and he's seeing end zone targets too. So his price went up a little bit, but the guy's been in play. He's got touchdowns in the last 3 games. He's got 4 touchdowns in the last 6. So you could go Aguilar, but me, I'm looking more or less at Cleveland side of things. They're gonna have to move the ball. I like Hunt. But we're looking at wide receivers here. Higgins is 4,200. He'd probably be the guy I lock in here. You got Peoples-Jones on the come up, and you got Landry. So give me Higgins for the run back. Put him at the wide receiver spot. I believe he saw 8 targets last game. 6 targets last game. Went over the 100-yard mark. He was 3,000. Obviously, that was probably a result of Odell Beckham leaving the game, but okay. 4,200. Price went up a little bit. I like this matchup. He'll probably be my run back option. First look. And that's it. So I'm looking at Derek Carr, Kareem Hunt, Le'Veon Bell, garbage time. Just, I think he gets the whole second half to do damage. Let's see what he could do. Maybe he gets in the box. And he could put up a good score at that price. Keenan Allen, targets are crazy. I got the Carr-Waller combination. I'm running it back with Higgins. And you got 2 spots to do whatever you want. You got 6,200 left. I think this build's solid for a first look. I'll probably run it somewhere. So just off first look, I could probably fill in A.J. Brown. Have 5,600 left. I want a piece of Tennessee. I definitely want a piece of that offense. Got a ton of options here. So got Juju. It's gonna be a tough game. You got T. Higgins if you want to go on the other side of Tennessee. So you got Tennessee, Cincinnati. Boom. Right there. A little correlation between the lineup. And that's how I do it. So I'm going to lock this lineup in. See what it does. And that's it. DFS Wolfpack. Wolf Fantasy Sports. If you want my plays. If you want my write-up. If you want to message me back and forth. You want some advice. Player versus player. What do you like? I'm here, man. It's what I've been doing for a while. I show you who I play. I'm on Draftkings. I'm on FanDuel. I was playing on Yahoo, but they kicked me off the website because I created another account and played on both accounts. And haven't figured out how to let me back on yet. It's been months. I don't know if I'll be back on Yahoo, and that's not me, that's them. So, Super Draft. I think I gave out some crazy Super Draft, just the first look. Everything hit on there. So, depending on who you played at tight end, you definitely cashed. I gave you guys like 4 of the top plays on Super Draft based off the multipliers. They all hit. So if you had them, you dominated Super Draft. You definitely got into the money. So get at me, man. Good luck. 1.
Music.